Okay, this is going to be a big one today. This is the brand new 2024-2025 local service ads full updated guide. They have had so many changes for local service ads. I've written so many guides the last 2 months on the changes and then decided not to publish them because some other change comes out right after. And so I'm finally doing it. I think they're done for a little while at least on making new updates and changes to the local service ads. I do want to mention that the strategies I'm teaching are working really, really well. You can see I got access to these two local service ad accounts just last week. You can see they've run these local service ads for years, never gotten any leads at all, at least not more than 1 or 2 leads a month. I started optimizing the campaign on about a week ago. They've been getting leads every single day ever since. Same with this one. These are both super competitive industries. This is a roofer in Dallas, Texas. This one is a roofer in Tennessee. Really, really competitive markets. We know what we're doing. We're getting results for everyone that we audit. So pay attention to all of the updates and changes to local service ads. I'll go over the ranking factors and specific recommendations at the end of the video. So first off, what has changed on the local service ads? One big change is the Google Business Profile integration. So a lot of things are integrating directly with Google Maps, which is new and good in my opinion for 2 reasons. One thing that is changed is the reviews are no longer separated. It used to be that you had a local service ad review, which is called the Google Verified Review, and then you had a Google Business Profile Review. So you used to be going here, customer reviews, create a custom link, and then you would copy that link, and then you'd share it with people. Or after you finish a business, you could text them in the Google's CRM ecosystem. After you book the job, you can send them the link. That would create a Google Verified Review, which was considered a stronger signal to Google LSA and was a ranking factor. The problem was people found ways to make them fake reviews, and since Google thought that it was a stronger review signal, they would never delete them. So people would abuse that feature a lot. Lots and lots of fake reviews were made on the Google verified system, and they would never be deleted. But that is no longer. You can see people who are buying fake reviews a lot because the LSA reviews wouldn't post on the GMB. So you would have like 500 reviews on LSA, and then you would only have 100 reviews on the GMB. And obviously, that's totally fake. And so people would get caught, and Google's still figuring out how to punish them for that. But so that's one of the big changes is there's no new reviews. They're all the same reviews. If you use the link here, it goes to the GMB. The GMB reviews also seem to have a bigger ranking impact than they did previously on LSA. So really, really push your GMB reviews. Second part, this business profile thing, you have to connect your business profile directly, not just the reviews, but connect it directly to the LSA profile. That is a big deal because a lot of people are creating multiple accounts for the same business. I mean, I used to do that as well. Like if I had an account that was not performing super well, I would just create another account and then pause the account and then start the new account and make it work. And so it was really easy to do that over and over again really quickly. This is a big deal because you can only have one business profile connected to per one local service ad account. The other thing is people are very confused on how to connect it. The process isn't super straightforward. Basically, I actually don't have any accounts that aren't already connected to show you, but you click here and then it will say connect now. You click and then it will open up your Google Business Profile. If it will say claim this profile if you don't already have ownership. If you do have ownership, it will just open it into the profile. You have to note only the owner of the Google Business Profile connect it to the local service ads. So you have to make sure that you're signed into the email that owns the Google Business Profile in order to connect it. A lot of times when I manage clients' accounts, I'm added to their Google Business Profile as manager. And so don't even have, I'm not able to do this for clients the majority of the time. That's update number 2. Update number 3, that is not really a new update, but still we should mention it since it came out the last 3 months. The local service ads dispute process has gone away. It's all now automated with AI. I gotta say, I was pretty skeptical at first, but I'm pretty impressed on how well the AI has done. The chargebacks most of the time are accurate and good. And the so you'll see here they add this column charge status. So in review means that Google's AI is reviewing it to see if it's a real lead or not. Charge status means it's a real lead that they charged you for. Not charged means that they automatically, so the AI can catch it earlier or they can catch it later. They caught it early on that it's a spam call and they didn't charge you initially for it. It could also mean that it's a missed call and Google doesn't know whether or not it's a lead. So you have to call them back, mark it as booked if it is a real lead for Google to know that it was a real lead, and then you will get charged. So if you call this person back, say if this is a missed call, which it was not a missed call, that means that this was a spam lead. But if it was a missed call and I called them back and I marked it booked, Google would charge me for that. It would get changed from not charged to charged status. The other thing, so yeah, the AI is working well. One thing to note with the AI does get confused if you talk for a long time. Like this one was not charged, but I saw that it was a 3-minute recording. 3-minute recordings, I don't know what they were talking about. I'm not going to listen to it on the call, but if you like, I have some clients that are a little bit older and they love to just tell stories and talk shop with anyone who calls. Sometimes that confuses the AI. If you're talking to them a lot about the service, so say, for example, someone's calling, they're asking advice about siding. They're like, hey, I have this home, I'm interested in doing a siding project, but I just want advice about it, blah, blah, blah. I'm not interested in buying. That's not really a real lead because they're not interested in becoming a customer. They're just asking for advice. But if you do give them advice and talk about siding products, siding processes, etc., then Google's AI might get confused thinking, oh, they're mentioning these key phrases I'm meant to listen for, and charge you for the lead. And so be a little bit curt on your conversations when they're not a real lead. Like if they're calling for a job or something, just say like, no, we're not hiring, or no, we don't service this, or no, that's outside of our service area. Hang up the phone, don't talk forever. Otherwise you might get charged for the lead that you really shouldn't have been charged for. Another thing that is really, really big new change that went along with the AI system of automatically crediting the leads, the rate this lead. So this is a huge deal. People aren't utilizing this as enough. So you should be rating every single lead. It's really good feedback to Google. If it's a good lead, you should say very satisfied, somewhat satisfied, neither satisfied nor dissatisfied, somewhat dissatisfied, very dissatisfied. I pretty much just use a very or the very top or their bottom, unless we didn't book it, but it's still a good lead. Then I would do somewhat. But so this one, we didn't get charged. So I'm just going to say very dissatisfied, and then you can select the reason why you're dissatisfied. Giving feedback to Google this way, that helps. Like, for example, if I got charged for a lead, Google's AI already thinks it's a real lead. And the only way we're going to get them to go back and say it was not a real lead is by giving them feedback. So I could say, so these are all completed, so they're all good leads. But let me find one that's a good lead too. So anyways, if this was not a good lead and they charged me for it, I could say very dissatisfied, and then it would go back into the AI system. So that's pretty much the new dispute process, is by rating the lead that is bad and then giving it a bad rating, and then it will go back into the AI system to double check. And then you can get more things disputed that way, or disputed, refunded, credited is the correct term now. So make sure you are doing rate this lead for every single one. Also, just wanted to say, Google PPC side of things, giving feedback to Google. We've always done this. We've given feedback to Google what a good lead is, what a bad lead is, in order to improve the performance of the PPC ad and get in front of the type of buyer that we want. And so this is theorizing. This isn't proven or anything yet, but I imagine that LSA is taking some parts of the PPC book, and they're going to try to put you in front of the type of leads that you want. And so the more data, the more machine learning that they get, the better they're able to optimize the ads. So I highly, highly recommend you do that for every single lead. You will notice that sometimes, so this one's already submitted, but sometimes the feature's broken. One thing, I don't want to get into too much of a tangent, but right now, LSA, PPC, Google ads in general, is going through a lot of changes, and part of the reason they're going through a lot of changes is because of the Google lawsuit. So Google's going through this huge lawsuit. You probably saw in the news just yesterday. They were talking about having Google sell off Chrome as one of the possible reparations and or divide into different brands, getting rid of Android, something like that. But Google's panicking. They're trying to make the user experience better because a lot of the reason people are mad at Google is because they've been a monopoly for so long. They're really the only option to advertise your business for a lot of home service companies or any industry, even shopping and such. And because they're a monopoly, they don't really take care of their customer. Their support process is horrendous. Their suspension process is horrendous. The cost is gone up every single year. It's absolutely awful. And so they're trying to make improvements. They're trying to improve a little bit more seriously. But the problem with making a lot of changes at once is there's always bugs. Every time they make a Google update, there's always bugs that people can make new GMBs. Just like that, every time they make a lot of changes at once, there's going to be issues. Like sometimes the rate this lead function won't work, or sometimes they might mess up the phone numbers, stuff like that. I've seen a lot of that. So that's why that you might see some issues coming in when they make a lot of changes like this at once. It's just going to come with bugs. Another common issue I see is the feature of trying to connect the GMB. Sometimes it just doesn't work. You can't click on it. It's just frustrating. Or sometimes even you're not able to log into the LSA dashboard like this. You might have to just copy the link directly because the number one result was directing to the Google AdWords PPC side of things instead of the LSA side. There's a bunch of things like that have been going on this last month because of all the updates that are going on. One other update that you'll see at the top, they're mentioning it, is the app is going away. Honestly, I couldn't care less about that. I think it's, kind of a good thing because it will force people to use the desktop version, and the desktop version is so much better. The desktop version, you can sort the leads better. You can make sure that you can double check the new leads to make sure that nothing's missed better. You can do the review status. You can see everything better on desktop. So it's going to force people to use the desktop because they're not given any alternative for the app. They're still refusing to integrate with CRMs to be able to manage the leads in other third-party CRMs. And so, everyone is just going to have some Office assistant to be able to manage the leads. One thing I will note is the LSA lead management used to be really important, like marking them as booked, marking them as completed, marking them as archived to keep them really organized. It is not as important from what I've seen. This isn't like they don't mention it at all in the ad ranking page. Like they update this occasionally, and anytime they update it, I always pay attention to whatever they update. Like right now, they updated about the photos, which means that the photos are really important, which I'll get to later. But the managing the leads, I used to be really on my clients about marking things as booked really quickly. It doesn't matter anymore, which I think is good. Part of the reason they probably took that way as a ranking factor is because the app is going away, so a lot of contractors aren't going to be able to do it in real time. So I still recommend you should use the system to keep organized. Mine as well, and it can't hurt. It's good to be organized, but yeah, it's okay if you're not marking things booked, and I won't get after you about that. But also, any lead status, this top one, it's a new feature. It used to be you'd have to go directly into new, and then you'd have to check active in order to see. But now you can just click any new lead status, which organizes based off of how recently you did anything on the campaign. So if I respond to a message here, this will move to the top. Otherwise, it's the most recent call that came in or lead that came in. So that's the changes in the CRM function of it. The app is going away. A lot of people noticed also the app broke during the last Apple iOS update. It was about a month and a half ago or now, I guess. I had a lot of clients complaining hey, my app doesn't work. I can't log into local service ads. And it still hasn't been fixed. The LSA app, ever since people updated the iOS on the iPhone, the app hasn't worked at all. Same with iPads. So if you still have an app that you're using and you haven't updated your iOS, I recommend not updating it if you want to use the app still. Otherwise, you can just get used to using the desktop version since the app's going away on January 6th anyways. New users who are just starting out local service ads, they don't even have the opportunity or option to download the local service ads. They've taken that away from, at least they took it away from Android, and they said they were taken away from the Apple Store as well, this week. So just get used to using it on desktop. I also wanted to note the mobile version of this website is absolute trash. If you are on the go a lot and you don't have any office worker who's able to manage the leads for you, I recommend trying to get an iPad. If you can get an iPad and use a hotspot or something that has data, the iPad version of the website is good. And so I'd recommend using that as an alternative to using the app. Okay, another new update is the bidding. So you can, I'll leave links to all of these different pages directly from Google so you can read about it. But to be honest, you don't really need to pay that much attention to this one because it's not a big deal. The only thing that I thought was kind of cool and that I am playing with was the weekly target leads. I like that one a little bit. Instead of, so yeah, let me just show you. So here in profile and budget, you can go to the budget and bidding strategy. Assuming that your business is profitable and you're a good salesperson, I recommend always doing automated bidding, maximize leads. That's the way you're going to get the most leads. You will pay a little bit more. If you're in a situation where you don't need a lot of leads, but because you only have a certain amount of labor available to you, you're not subcontracting, say you're a home remodeler and you can only handle 2 jobs a month or 1 job a month, one new job coming in a month is enough, so you only need 2 leads a week. In those situations and scenarios, you can test out these other, I personally, so manual bidding is where you would be bidding a manual amount per category. So they suggest whatever, and then automated bidding with a target cost per lead. This is a little bit more advanced version of manual bidding, max per lead. So this is trying to average out. So the reason why this might look the same to some people, but how it works is depending on where the searcher is searching from changes the cost per lead. If you notice that when you shrink your service area to just the city, your cost per lead goes higher because there's more competitors in the city itself. When you expand your service area to be really large and go like all in the counties and the mountains where no one really is advertising, your cost per lead is going to, on average, get lower because you're getting cheaper leads from the boonies. So that's another good advice about if you need to save money, maybe just stretch your service area. But this one, what you can do is set a target cost per lead. So this is Google doing smart bidding where they try to raise and lower it depending on where the searcher is coming from to try and get you a target cost per lead of whatever this number that you set is. So you could say, I don't really want to spend more than $60 for siding because siding's not that profitable. I'm willing to spend up to $80 for roofing because roofing is really profitable, etc. And so you can get a little bit more granular in, your profit margins best, what you really prefer. You could bid higher on things that you think are more profitable. And that is actually not a bad option. I haven't seen a really big difference with rankings. So if people are saying like, oh, I'm going to manually bid a really high bid to try to get better rankings, it doesn't work like that. Just do the automated maximize leads. This is just for businesses who want to get less leads than they're currently getting and want to save money. Then you can do the other bidding strategies. Next update. So photos. The smart photos has come out for maybe 2 months. I forgot when exactly, but let me show up. So these are the official guidelines on it. Basically, Google is reading the photos in your local service ads account, and they're supposed to be featuring the most relevant photo to the searcher. And so I encourage everyone when you first set up your local service ads account to try to have a photo of every single one of your services that you're advertising. So you should go to your job types, pull it open, and then try and get a photo of every single one of these job types. So make a checklist, say like, do we have one about roof damage repair where we show a hail damage on top of a roof? Try to have that photo. Then roof inspection. Try to see if you have roof inspection photo with a clipboard or something, and try to like plan out your photos with your to mirror your industry. That's one tip. But the really, 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 really big tip and really important thing is to have photos of people. My goodness, you can search any industry in the United States and every single time the top ranking ones are going to have people for all the really competitive areas. So for some reason, my app is showing Berlin, but look at that. Top 3. You got a portrait photo of a guy, you got a photo of a guy with a logo, and you got a team photo. Having team photos, portrait photos, family photos, anything with people, photos of workers on a roof, that's fine. But just having people in general, Google knows that people buy from people that they know, like, and trust. And so having photos helps people trust you, relate to you more, and Google knows that and is featuring people as ads who actually have photos, because you can't set the top photo on your ad account. Google does it automatically. And every single time, they're always choosing the photos of the faces. So make sure you take photos of your employees, your family, everything you can. Add those photos as soon as you can, and you will see an increase in leads over time from that. So that's a big ranking tip. Another new update is the option to directly book in local service ads. So this is something else that they rolled out to the GMB previously, and now that the GMB and LSA is getting more integrated, they've also rolled it out to local service ads. You have to opt into it, which goes over the process here. But if you have one of these CRMs, so you can connect Follow Up Boss, House Call Pro, Jobber, Go High Level, or Lead Connector as the same thing. Scorpion, Service Titan, or Work is Easy. They're probably going to add more to them as time goes on. But right now, these are the 6 platforms that you can directly integrate with to book. So you can, if you already have these integrations set up on your Google Business profile, it'll automatically happen for your local service ads. If you don't have it already set up, you can get one of these CRMs, connect to your Google Business profile. People can book directly on your calendar, and you can connect it with your local service ads. The cost per conversion on this appears to be, from what I've seen, the same as the cost per lead of the calls. Message leads are known to be half the cost of call leads, and these booked leads seem to be the exact same cost as the call leads. So I was hoping that would be half the cost, just like a message lead, but they are more valuable because it's a natural booking. And so right now it's showing the same cost. I'm kind of curious if they're going to increase the cost specifically on booking partners, but from what I've seen, they haven't yet. Another thing that is not a really big deal, but just worth mentioning, is Google did come out and say that the proximity is not a ranking factor for local service ads, or is now not a ranking factor. So what that means is, it used to be where your office was located at. Google would take a look at that and try to rank you a little bit more around that area. That's not the case anymore. Google's realized that local service ads, customers don't really care where the business is located as long as they can get to them. And so, especially for home service companies, because they're not driving to the office location, they have being serviced in their home. And so, they took that away as a ranking factor, and that has been confirmed by Google themselves. Last one was local service ads. Reviews, we already mentioned that a little bit earlier, but the reviews is a ranking factor. Review frequency is more important than the total amount of reviews. So continually getting reviews on a regular basis helps. I am theorizing that in the future, now that Google Maps and Google Local Service Ads is kind of like, Local Service Ads is taking parts of PPC and parts of GMB and combining it into their platform. Like the feedback is from PPC, the GMB link, the review frequency, the proximity, all of those are related to GMB. And so I'm really curious to see how much further this goes, if the ranking factors will continue to correlate more. But so what do you actually need to do in order to rank better on your local service ads? So first off, make sure that you have the business verification, and double check the local service ad categories. The local service ads is always adding new categories and types of businesses that they're showing the ads for. This is the full list that they always update, so it's good to highlight this answer, and they'll update it. Right now, they don't show which ones are new. I wish they would highlight the ones that are new, but I also have a running list that I just compared to, and I know pretty much every industry that it's currently on. They always roll out the categories to the US first, and specifically California and Florida first. And then they'll roll it out to the rest of the United States, and then they'll roll it out to Canada. So Canada is the last, and then eventually they'll roll it out to the rest of the world someday. And so you can kind of pay attention to the California or Florida ones, because that means that it'll probably roll out to the US sometime soon. Such as the ones I was excited for: nail salon, piercing studio, and the tattoo studio. Those are, I have clients in those industries, and I'm excited for that to roll out in their area. Other one that is new was the mechanic that just rolled out last month. So if you know any mechanics or anybody has a new industry that it just rolled out, make sure to tell them, because This is a really, really big opportunity. Every time a new local service ads category drops, that means that for that industry, if you get your clients to be the first one on there, then they're going to get the cheapest leads that they'll ever get on local service ads because it's a bidding model. So the first people who get the leads uh, get it for the cheapest, and they'll get a ton of leads because there's no one else to compete against. So, but you have to note that they only show the ads once there's 3 competitors, or sometimes 2, but most of the time 3 competitors. And the not all the competitors will have the same service area. So just because one part of the service area is overlapping, the ads will show in that area. So try to tell your friends who are in your area if you have like. I had a mechanic that I had my car serviced at a couple days ago. I told him about local service ads, and I set him up a free local service ads account while I was in the waiting room because it's a brand new category. And so I also told him, if you have any mechanic friends, you can have them also set it up. So then your ads will get shown sooner, because right now there's not even 3 mechanics in Arizona who are added to local service ads yet. So his ads aren't showing yet. But as soon as three people get on the platform, then their ads will show, and then they're going to get a ton of leads for really cheap. Like, for example, I had this company, a roofing company in Arizona. They were one of the first people on local service ads, and they were getting like 100 leads a month for around $28 per lead. That is a roofer's dream. They made so much money from local service ads during that time. Now there's, a couple hundred roofers on local service ads. The cost per lead is around $70 to $80 in the same exact area. And so the cost goes up a lot over time as more competitors join the platform. The competitive level goes up a lot, and the lead volume goes down. So get on really early. It's super important to get on early. So if you're a marketer, double check this list on a regular basis, and maybe your clients are now available to advertise, like auto body shop. That's a new one. Auto repair shop. Another is auto detailer. I don't know where detailer is, but detailer, car wash and detailing. That's a new one. Another one, chiropractor. That's pretty new. Well, not that new, but from this year at least. So it's worth checking out. And let me see if there's any other really important ones. Oh, kitchen remodeling. So I actually just saw this morning. So I'm going to add that to my clients. I didn't realize that in the past it was always general contracting. General contractor had the kitchen remodeling under it. But now there's a dedicated kitchen remodeling. So definitely go join that one, because you're going to get cheaper leads. Since not the rest of the general contractors don't know about it yet. So breaking news. That's the first time I've seen it today. Another one is like handyman. A lot of general contractor handyman things overlap. So you can add handyman to get cheaper leads. So just adding the additional categories, you'll get cheaper leads that way. For example, roofers. If you also qualify to advertise as a general contractor, general contracting has a roofing category. And so you can get roofing leads from the general contracting, and the leads are cheaper because not as many of general contracting is much cheaper cost per lead because there's just less general contractors advertising on local service ads than there is roofers. And so every time for my roofing clients, I always set them up on general contractor too, so they can get cheaper leads from general contracting. So that's a huge ranking tip. Is just try to make sure that you're on every single possible category that you qualify for. And then the other one is just, I went over it already, but giving the feedback to Google, that is a direct ranking factor. So I just took a account where he had missed messages, missed leads. So I responded to all the messages, and then I rated every single one of his leads. And he hadn't gotten leads in 3 months. It was the last time he got a call. And now I fixed that, I think, last Friday, and he's gotten leads this week already. I mean, he's only gotten like 3, but still, that's a direct ranking impact just from doing the rate this lead. So it definitely helps. Google wants you to be using that new features, and it's a big deal. And the last thing was the photos, having the photos of your face, especially. That's a huge ranking thing. It's going to help with conversions, and definitely do it. Everything else is pretty much the same. You want to make sure you have a really wide service area. You get cheaper leads. You get more leads that way. You want to make sure you don't miss messages. Respond to those messages super quickly. Don't miss calls. If you do miss a call them back within an hour and mark it as booked. Those are all, the basics that pretty much everyone knows by now. And yeah, good luck on your local service ads. That's pretty much it for 2024, 2025 update. Thank you.